500 series racks and what should you look for? What is going to be right for you? This is impossible to answer because it is less about a feature set and more about the subtle coloration and alterations to the audio that it's imparting on the recording that you're making. Because you're not looking at, okay, this is a decent preamp, this is a decent preamp as well, what are the differences? This has a 5 decibel quieter noise floor. Okay, let's go with that. That's not what you're looking at when you're looking at 500 series gear. You're looking at the subtle coloration between two different preamps made by legendary manufacturers from Neve to SSL to AEA. That's what you're looking for, so there's nothing that I can really say to tell you this is the right selection for you. I also haven't had a tremendous amount of experience with different 500 series modules. I have a very select set of modules that I built trying to make the ultimate channel strip because I wanted something like the DBX286S, but I wanted better. I wanted to be able to use stuff from companies that I actually really love and I love the sound of that perform to my standards. So I will have to get a B-roll shot of this, but I have my 500 series rack right here. It's a big, heavy, chunky son of a gun. I probably shouldn't be lifting it and throwing it around while it's on. But I am running a Neve 511 preamp. Then I am running into a Drummer DS101 noise gate. Functions as a noise gate. Then I am running into an SSL 611 EQ. I'm bypassing that right now because I haven't done any EQing for the Neumann KMS 105, so I'm not going to mess around with that right now. Then I run into a Rupert Neve 535 diode bridge compressor. I'm using that as my main compressor because I like the more vintage characteristic of this over the next compressor, but I wanted to get a little bit of compression to impart more color onto the microphone. And lastly, I have a Rupert Neve 543 compressor, and I'm using this more along the lines of a limiter before I run into my audio interface to ensure that I don't clip and distort the analog to digital converter. And that is the 500 series channel strip that I came up with. It's not going to be right for everybody. This is just what I selected when trying to make my perfect channel strip because as you can tell, I'm a huge R&D fan. I love Rupert Neve design stuff. I also really like the SSL EQ. It's just all really great stuff. And as far as noise gates, very limited selection in the 500 series stuff. So you have one option, two options maybe. I think an SSL Dynamics processor does have a noise gate built in, but unless you want all the other stuff, it's a very expensive module to buy just for the noise gate. If I was changing anything, there are a couple of things. There are some things that I would want to try out. First would be looking to get an optical compressor that is more along the lines of an LA2A because I absolutely adore the LA2A. I know some folks hate it. I just think it's beautiful and soft and gooey sounding, and I love the LA2A. So that would be something that I would look into, trying to get an optical compressor. And then maybe some different preamps. I don't have too many of them. I have the API 512C, the RND 511. I think I have the AEA preamp as well. But as far as my perfect setup, this is it. And there are people who have a lot more experience with 500 series pre's. They have purchased 15 of them and used them all. Go to, I think there's a voice actor Discord, and there are people in there who are really well versed in 500 series. If you're in the Podcastage Discord server, I know Germaphobe is very well versed in 500 series preamps as well, and they have spent a lot more time and done a lot more in-depth testing with different alternatives or different options for the modules. I just selected based on what I knew and what I thought would fit my needs and preferences the best. And this works wonderfully for what I do, which most of the time is just talking in Discord. Overkill? Absolutely. Okay. I'm just rambling at this point. Squash, I appreciate the voice submission. I hope this gave you some insight. I hope it gave you some information and some jumping off points on what to look for. Go talk to Germaphobe on the Podcasters Discord. They know a whole heap ton about this. Although I don't know if you're still looking at this. This was sent in May. There you go.